Hey, kia ora, Helen Browns here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Oh my gosh, welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1343. And boy, do we have some stories to tell you today. But first, this was a surprise for me, and I'm going to have to jump off camera really quick to put it back in the freezer so it doesn't melt too quickly. But I was at Trader Joe's today and I felt like some ice cream. So I went to their ice cream because, well, first of all, back up. So yesterday we did the house hunting. We'll update you on that in a minute. Then I went, and then today I was watching the original Star Wars trilogy, which is episodes 4, 5, and 6. And between the first movie and the second movie, I had to go run some errands, like get my mail. Was super happy that I did, because in my mail were some very special cookies. Now, I think I told you the other day how I had these cookies, but I had these ones made. They had these ones made with my logo on them. So I got a pack of 2. They come in this little bubble wrap, and they're taped together. So they're packed together, which I thought was a good idea. But these are vanilla. These are vanilla sugar cookies, and they're in these little bags. And they came with my logo on them. How cool is that? And that's all done in edible icing. So it's got my Before the Dirt Nap logo on there. I tried it to see how it would look. They came out fantastic. So I'm super excited about those. But I got to do a show and tell tomorrow, so I can't eat them. And I even sent myself a little note card as well. But I did send these off to clients of mine to let them know about the cookies. So they've now got cookies coming with my logo on them, which is pretty cool. Anyway, so while I was at Trader Joe's, I thought I need some ice. I want some ice cream, because, you know, you can't watch a movie without ice cream. I had to go and get popcorn. I had caramel corn that I got when I was at Winco on Friday, but I needed a more savory flavored one, like a salted. And they had a movie theater caramel. And I don't pop popcorn in a microwave. I just buy the bags of popcorn, because I usually cook it on the stovetop. But of course, yeah. Anyway, so I'm looking through there, and there was this one. It was called Okie Dokie, and it's an oat non-dairy frozen dessert. But what caught my eye was the picture. Okay, it's got caramel dripped on. Then I read what's written down the bottom here, which says a New Zealand-inspired dessert with caramel swirl and sponge candy bits. And also, like, are they referring to Hokey Pokey ice cream? Because in New Zealand, one of our favorite ice creams is Hokey Pokey ice cream. My mother can't stand it. And they have these little crunchy bits of Hokey Pokey in them. And Hokey Pokey is basically sugar, golden syrup mixed together, melted together. Once it's melted, you throw in some baking soda. The whole thing froths up, and you got to get it out of the pot and into a very, 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 very well greased pan really, really fast before it sets. And it sets into this honeycomb type thing. So if you think of like malt balls, something like that, but a very different flavor. So I haven't tried this yet. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll try it tonight. So take that off. So it looks pretty good. Now we're going to see and taste. I'm trying to see if I can get some with the caramel and the spongy bits. Let's try this. Actually, this is really good. Oh my gosh. It's dairy-free. It's vegan. Caramel swirl is definitely in there. And it's got the caramel crunch bit in there as well. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is really good. It's nice. It's creamy. It tastes very much like Hokey Pokey ice cream, but Hokey Pokey ice cream is different because it's not caramel. But oh my gosh, that's really good. So I have to hurry up and do it tonight so that doesn't go and melt. But I could very easily sit here. Sorry, it's very sticky, so I need my hand sanitizer to unstick my hands. But yeah, if you're looking for a really good ice cream, this is an oat non-dairy frozen dessert. It's vegan and it's called Okie Dokie. So if you go to Trader Joe's near you, go try some. It's actually really good. Not quite Hokey Pokey ice cream, but a really good alternative for somebody like me who loves my Hokey Pokey ice cream and can't get it here in the States. So anyway, so how did the house hunting go yesterday? The house hunting was awesome. Friday, we got to see 2 houses. The first one was very definitely a no. There was just way too much work that needed to be done to that one. In fact, in one of the bedrooms, there was scratch marks on the door frame, and I didn't look at the back of the door properly there, but from a dog like trying to get out, trying to dig its way out through the door and everything. And there was a lot of like damaged stuff that had to be fixed, and the yard wasn't very big. It was very dark in there. It was a corner lot I didn't mind so much, but it needed a lot of work. And the front door looked like it hadn't been painted since it was built in 2005. The second place we looked at, really liked that one. And I think I told you guys about this one on Thursday night. It's the one that had the RV area in it. So you're going to hear more about that one in a minute. Then on Saturday, we started at 9:15, and we had 5 houses to see. So it was in plenty of time for the first one. We were early. I can't remember what the first one was. I'm just looking around to see if I've got my notes anywhere. No, I don't. But we went to the first one, and the first one, hang on, I'm trying to remember which address I was at for that one. The first one we didn't spend a lot of time in, because we were in and out of that one pretty quick. We were in and out before 9:15, which is when our appointment time was. I'm trying to remember what the first one was. Oh, that was okay. So the first one we did like. It's on the possibility list. It was this one had solar panels, but they were owned by the house owner, which meant they convey with the house. And so that was a really cool house. It had a good flow in it. Backyard wasn't the biggest, especially after we'd seen the one the night before, which was on a 10,000 square foot lot. And most of the other houses we had seen were around 5,000 to 6,000 square feet. So getting a 10,000 square foot lot was awesome. So we did like that one. And like I said, the backyard wasn't very big on that one, but inside the house was a lot of room, a lot of space, and the fact that it had solar. And it had a very big open kitchen, dining, family room part to the house. And it had 4 bedrooms. So it was pretty cool. And the bedrooms were all good sized rooms. You could get queen beds in any of those rooms with no problems at all. So it was a very spacious house. And the backyard, I said, wasn't the biggest, but it wasn't one of the smallest ones either that we'd seen. So we went so we were in and out of that one pretty quick. We were in and out of here before 9:15, which is when our appointment time was. Then we went on to the next appointment, which wasn't supposed to be till 9:45. And what was that one? Oh my gosh. We had to do all this diverting around because I had this big massive roadwork thing going on at the time as well. So I couldn't turn where I was supposed to, so I had to go down, do this U-turn and come back to it again. Fortunately, Ashley had texted me and says, there's some construction you're going to have to get around. She says, but take your time. We're fine. And then the next place we saw, I think that one was a no one. I'm trying to remember if that was I know we saw 2 that were definite no's yesterday. And then 2 others were, one's a maybe, one's a possible. Remember, maybe, possible. Yes. We got a call while we were at the first one to say that it was a showing call to say that our 4th house of the day we wouldn't be able to see because there was an illness in the family, so they were cancelling the showings for that day. And I thought, fair enough, but I was sort of like, bummer, because it was one of the ones I wanted to see. It was, that's what we saw next. So the next one was one that I had actually been waiting several days for. I loved the photographs that were on the website and everything else. And when we got there, we're busy walking around the house, and I suddenly look out the back door and go, where did that come from? And it was one of those view fence where you have like a row of concrete blocks across the bottom, and then it's all metal uprights. And it looked out over a park area, which was pretty cool. It looked over a park area, so you had a nice view and everything. But everybody could see into you. And with Zeffie, I'm not sure how she's going to do with those uprights, because knowing my puppy, she will try to figure out a way to get through them, over them, under them, whatever. And the spacing on it, I was unsure about as to whether or not it was small enough for her not to be able to squeeze through. But with my dog, you never know. She's a little Houdini, this one. She gets out of a crate that's got 3 hooks on it, plus the door handle hooks under I've still got to videotape that one time. So that one actually unfortunately went on the no list but the inside of the house was gorgeous. The backyard was a lot of space for Zeffie to run around in. But because of that fencing, I had to say no. Then we went, and so we knew that number 4 wasn't going to be happening. So I said, instead of just doing I said, well, we've got number 4. Are we able to go back and see the second one we saw yesterday that had the huge yard? And so Ash got on her phone, does her little thing, and blah, 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 blah. Then we went on an adventure to find a restroom, which was an adventure. I will tell you, I have never come across so many gas stations that had either did not offer public restrooms or their public restrooms were out of service. But we finally did find a place, so we were good with that. But it took a lot of driving around. We went on to our third one, which was that was the one with the it had tenants in it, and we got there and the tenants hadn't left the house yet. Now we were only like 5 minutes early, 5 to 10 minutes early. They hadn't left the house, and so we stayed there while they went and did their thing, and then we came back and we actually stayed out front until they opened the front door to let us in. It was a very dark house. It's 3 bedrooms plus a flex room, and the flex room they were using as a bedroom. They had 3 king-size beds in the master bedroom, the flex room, and one of the bedrooms, and then they had a queen size in the 4th and the 3rd bedroom. It was a very dark house. It had dark painted on the walls, and Ash was sort of like, well, maybe it's because the shutters aren't open. And I'm like looking, going, yeah, but there's not that many windows, and the house just had this bad vibe about it. I just wanted to get out of there. So that was a very definite no. So then we went back to the one that we had seen the day before, and that has the big RV yard in it. And this time I always took my laser thing with me, but I wanted to see because the floor plan was shown on the website. And so I wanted to go and see because I thought, I didn't think those 2 rooms, the 2 bedrooms were the same size. So I went in there and I got out my laser thing and went, they are the same. Well, what do you know? They are the same size. So I started taking other measurements and stuff. This one is on a 10,000 square foot property. Backyard enormous for little Zeffie. She would have a blast running around in that one. It was almost like she had her own private dog park. She would end up having her own private dog park. And then off the side of the house, they had this area fenced off, which of course we couldn't get in on Thursday. I didn't think to bring the WD-40 with me yesterday because I wasn't sure if we were going to see it or not, because I knew that Ash had other appointments that day. And so we, so I went and she got on the phone with her contractor to see if it would be possible, because the only way to get into that RV section that they had fenced off, that ran down most of the side of the house, was through the double gates at the front. And I was like, I don't like that idea, because if somebody is staying there in their RV, then we've got to leave the gates open so they can get out to get access to the house and all of that sort of stuff. I said, I'm not comfortable with that. I said, we need a gate to get in. And so she got on the phone with her contractor while we were there, sent him pictures of everything, of the fence, pictures over the fence and all of that sort of stuff. And he came back and says, oh yeah, we did one of those last week. It's $1,200 for it takes us a day. It's $1,200. That's all labor, material, everything included. And this is basically how we do it. And this is the end result. And he was able to send us pictures because he had just done one. And I was like, that's really cool. But I still wanted to look inside the RV area. So what I did is I went into the living room, and they have the windows are about, for me, like knee high. And so I opened up this, and I noticed that the windows didn't have screens on them. So they had this sliding window that I opened up, and I was able to stand there and look out this whole thing. I had my little laser thing in the hand. So I put it by the window to see how far across it is to the far fence. It's 30 feet wide. I thought, perfect. And so then I stood at the window and went this way towards the back, and that was 27 feet. And then I turned it around to measure from the same point to the front fence, and it was 8 feet. So it's roughly 35 by 30. I thought, Sparkles will fit in there, no problem at all, because Sparkles is 33 feet long with the ladder on the back. Perfect. And we get the gate in there, but there are no hookups in there for power or anything like that. There is a hose bib on the other side of the fence, on the other side of the there's the fence, then the AC unit, and then there's a hose bib there, so you could drape a hose over if you needed to. But yeah, so that was kind of exciting, because I actually got to, and Ash came in and I says, I could actually step out of this. I says, but the problem is getting back in again, because the ground level was below the house, and I had jeans on. Had I had yoga pants on, I would have done it. But she's like, oh no, don't go climbing out there, because I wasn't sure, we weren't sure if I'd get back in. And I said to her, if I had yoga pants on instead of jeans, I would try it, because I could easily get my leg up to get in through the window and everything else. Whereas with jeans on, it's a little restrictive. I have a funny story about my jeans too. And so we did all the measurements and everything else on the house and worked out some stuff. And so I got to see what I wanted to see in the house, got the questions answered that I had on that house. And so that house moved to a high possibility. Then we went to see the last house. Last house needed some work on it. It had a funny smell when we walked in the door, so we left the front door open and the back door open to create a cross breeze. It's been empty, looked like it'd been empty for a while. We walked around. This house does have a lot of potential. There was a lot of stuff that needed to have the tiles steam cleaned, which would get any smoke and stuff out of any smells and stuff out of the grout. It needed the carpets fully replaced. There was one bit in the room, I said to her, that looks like poop and blood down there, and dried blood down there. So goodness knows what happened in that spot, but it was there on the carpet. It was a really weird setup though, because at the front of the house, it had a bedroom with a walk-in closet. Then it had the door to the garage. Then you were opened into the family room, and you could see through to the kitchen, had this arch pass through into the kitchen and the eating area. And the other side of that wall is where the front door was, for that little hallway. Then you had a hallway that was off the back end of the family room, and you opened up the cupboards, and there was like a good 2 feet that you could actually step into this cupboard, but that had your laundry in there. And I'm like, anytime I've seen the cabinet laundries, you open the doors and right there, you have to stand in the hallway to load and unload your washing and all that sort of stuff. And but this one had space inside where you could put your laundry basket in there, do everything you need to do, and not have to block the hallway. And then next to that was the door to the master bedroom. It had a couple of closets, no walk-in closets. Then it had this room that had the weird carpet thing. Then it had a hall cupboard, and then it had the hall bathroom. And I was like, okay, so it is a split bedroom house, and a split bedroom house means that you got bedrooms on one end of the thing and bedrooms on the other side, front, back, whatever. And the backyard was huge. This was just over 9,000. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was like 300 square feet smaller than the one with the RV yard. This one said it also had an RV gate. Yes, it did have an RV gate, but there is absolutely no way you would get an RV in through that gate. It was wide enough to get an RV through, but it's how it was set up that you knew you couldn't get through. At the front of the property, in front of the RV gate, they had the utility box. You know those little gray boxes that you see? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe you could go around that. Nope. The neighbor had this huge tree there that kind of just draped over. And so you'd be going in through their tree around the thing. Then you, if you could get in the gate, not far, once you get into the gate, not far from the gate is the AC unit. So you would then have to steer to get around that. But if you did that, you'd end up clipping the roof of the house. And I was like, okay, it may be listed as an RV gate because that's what it's constructed as, but it is useless as an RV gate. You can't even get a trailer in there because of the way they've done the landscaping in the front yard and where this utility box is. And it wasn't just the gray one, it was also the tall green one as well, which I can't remember what that one usually has, like cable or something. But yeah, there's no way you could use it for. So I'm like, that's kind of like a useless gate. But I started walking around, and there's a lot of weeds around here. It'd been a while since somebody had lived there, obviously, and taken care of it, because there was a lot of weeds in the front yard, which was all stone. There was a lot of weeds in the backyard, which was all stone. Fully fenced backyard, which was fine. And they had these trees there. A couple of them looked like they were half dead. And I'm like, you really don't want to look after trees. There was no covered patio area. There was a big patio area, but nothing but no cover. And then I'm like walking around to go look down the side of the house, and there's this dead bird laying there in the weeds. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. I had enough of my teenage years picking up after our cat. We had a cat that was a very good hunter. She was an indoor-outdoor cat. She was a very good hunter. She would bring us her prizes of mice, rats, rabbits, and birds. Thankfully, I never had to clean up the rabbits. Yes, she caught rabbits, and they were bigger than her. I never had to clean up after the rabbits. My poor mum was the one that found those ones. But I had to pick up a lot of mice and birds and take them down to the swamp area over the back fence and toss them into there. Yeah, and as soon as I saw that bird, I was like, I'm out of here. So that one's on the maybe list. And of course, then I still want to see the one that we didn't get to see. But we did. I turned around and says, let's put an offer in on the house that we've seen twice with the RV yard. It was a great layout. The backyard definitely works for us. It's got a covered patio. It's got this huge space for Zeffie. It's so much huge space that Ashley suggested at some point maybe putting an additional dwelling unit or an ADU in the backyard there, like a granny flat. And I was sort of like thinking, well, why make it a granny flat? I can make it an office. Get like an old shipping container or something. And when I was talking with my mum and I was on the Zoom with my mum and dad last night, and which is why you guys didn't get to hear the story. I wanted them to hear it first. And my dad was sort of like, well, you could always put a shipping container in the RV thing if you're not taking Sparkles with you. And I'm like, And he said, so do you need to sell Sparkles to move on? I went, no. And he said, so you could park Sparkles there while you decide what to do. I went, yep. So it was sort of like, oh, we actually have options. We have options now, because it's like, I've got to get rid of Sparkles because I can't put it at the place I'm going to. But now I'm looking at a place that's got an RV park area. I could quite easily take Sparkles over there and park her there. And then I was like, woke up this morning. I went, oh my gosh, I can like put Sparkles in that RV yard area, close the gates, go into the living room, and I put a step stool, because I've got a really good sturdy step stool down at the base of the window there. Go into the house. Open up that sliding window, and then I can unpack, because the door to access Sparkles would be on that side of the house, would be facing the house. So I could just walk in and out and just go and put things through the window onto the floor of the living room area, and not have to worry about walking around and out and through the back door, front door, and not having to worry about anybody just coming up. I can close the gates and I can step in and out through the window. Brilliant. So that was pretty cool. So the offer has gone, as far as I got a text message this morning to say that the offer has gone to the other agent. I had to do all my preamble stuff as soon as I found out it was there. And I got a text message from the agent, from Ashley this morning, to say that the offer has been extended to the other agent. So now we just have to wait for them to present it to the owners and for the owners to decide. So we're back to the waiting game again. Then today I got to watch, I'm actually halfway through Return of the Jedi. Watched the first two movies. Zeffie came home while I was halfway through the third movie. Zeffie came home and she looked around a little bit and said hello to me, and then she went to bed and went to sleep, and I thought, fine, I'm going to go sleep too. So we had a nap, a homecoming nap. So when I get back from the walk, which we're about to go and do, then I will watch the last half of Return of the Jedi, and then that will be the Star Wars trilogy done, the original Star Wars trilogy done in honor of Brad's birthday, which was on Thursday. So it's been an action-packed weekend. It's been a lot of fun. I really want to dig in more into this ice cream, but I'm going to have to go put it back in the freezer, because I got a dog that wants a WALK, and she's up on her bed looking out the window. But so that's what's happening right now. We had a lot of fun house hunting. The surprise was finding the Okie Dokie ice cream, which is supposed to be inspired by the Hokey Pokey ice cream. It does taste really good, but it's not Hokey Pokey. But it's a good alternative, since I can't get Hokey Pokey ice cream in the US. So that's it from us for today. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling day. We're going to go for a walk. If you want to see a really cool little video, I finally had a phone in my hand when Zeffie started having her out. Well, we call it talking in your sleep. She was yipping in her sleep. So if you wanted to hear her yipping in her sleep, she happened to have the phone ready, because usually if I've got up to go get the phone so I could take a video of it, she stops. But this time I happened to have the phone in the bedroom. I only have it in the bedroom when I'm napping. And I had it in the bedroom. I was able to reach over quietly, get it, and turn the video on and actually catch her having her sleep yips. I don't know what she was dreaming about, but it sounded fun. So I'm out of here, and we will catch you guys later. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konara.